and welcome back. Before I get into today's subject sitting here, I want to talk about a couple things. First off, Jordan made me that awesome intro video. Thank you so much. Jordan's a previous student of mine, did a great job making me the intro video. Second, I teach high school math, for those of you that don't know it, and I've had quite a few previous students and quite a few current students tell me that I'm making plants more boring than I make math. I'm really not trying to do that. I'm trying to actually do the opposite of that. When I first got into bonsai, like 3 years ago, I'd joined a bunch of Facebook groups, I'd follow a couple forums, did a bunch of Googling and stuff and everything, and there's so much differing information out there. And I don't know, I just tried to actually make a YouTube channel kind of based on the content that I wish was there when I got started. I'm really not trying to claim that I'm like a bonsai teacher. I'm just more or less trying to just show you what I'm doing and show you what works and what doesn't work. As a matter of fact, this guy here to my left may or may not make this summer. We'll see. I'm kind of worried about it blooming so early. It doesn't usually bloom this early, but we'll talk about that here in a second. But I am, trying to make things somewhat engaging. Right now, I'm actually just trying to get a little bit of practice looking in the eye of the camera. Not even 100% sure I'm looking right at the eye of the camera because I can't look at myself when I'm trying to do that. I'm going to watch it back and see what happens. Hopefully this can make the channel or whatever. I don't want to be too embarrassed of it. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump into today's subject. And today's subject would be a crepe myrtle. I don't have my background set up right and everything, but it's all right. I'll just fix that as I go here. Now that I'm not on camera anymore, I'll talk a little bit more about what it was I was talking about with things I wish were available when I first started bonsai. And that was, a lot of people, they say that you have to, take a beginner's class, you have to do this, you have to do that. I prefer to learn things on my own. And I did mention that I'm a high school math teacher, and honestly, you can teach yourself calculus on the internet if you want to. You can use YouTube, Khan Academy. There's all kinds of things you could use to teach yourself stuff. I think some people that actually have classes for things like hobbies, woodworking, all kinds of stuff, especially the older crew, they kind of get really upset that you can just learn all this stuff on YouTube and the internet now. And I mean, that's just too bad, I guess. I mean, I've had a few people tell me that, to really become a true bonsai person, you have to go to Japan and take a year and learn how to water trees first. And sorry, I'm not doing all that kind of crap, but I'm learning as I go. And now I'm going to kind of dive into the subject of the day here. All right, and this guy here, this was actually in my yard a few years ago. I dug it up. So it was February of 2019. I dug it up. You can see here where I dug it up out of the yard. Actually, my neighbor ran it over a couple times with his riding mower. And then actually the one time I went to go say, hey, can you stop running over my little crepe myrtle tree there with your mower? He actually stepped on it. But you can actually see here, I'm showing a picture of what it looked like in the yard. And you really couldn't see it. I almost couldn't blame him. It was just a little tiny twig sitting up out of the yard. So I did dig it up. And I had it in the huge pot for a couple years. It bloomed both years. Wasn't looking too bad or whatever, but I decided this year that first off, I didn't really want to in that big pot anymore. I wanted to try to contain it a little bit more into something smaller. I don't really have visions of this being, I mean, if you Google crepe myrtle bonsai or whatever, bonsai, you can come up with just all kinds of things with huge trunks and everything. And I'm not really trying to do anything like that. I'd actually like to keep this kind of small. Generally speaking, the title of my page is Tropical Bonsai, and tropical bonsai is the way to go if you're trying to keep bonsai indoors. This is not one you can keep indoors. This actually is a deciduous plant that really should be outside. It's certainly never going to thrive inside. I can't imagine even trying. I did repot it this February just because I didn't think it was making very good progress in that big pot. And it's blooming early, and you can even see here that the bloom has almost just weighed the branch down. And I keep this kind of close outside where I can see it from my kitchen. You can see where it actually bent the limb there. And some parts of it have barely leafed out. And then you got some parts that are showing that it's got a bloom there and everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and, one of the first things I do after even the one in my yard blooms is just take them off. Usually you get a second round out of it. So even before this one blooms, I'm gonna go ahead and take them off now and redirect some more energy into just putting out more leaves, more branching. So I'm gonna pop these off here. You can even see this little guy here was getting some little blooms on it there. So anything that looks like it was about to turn into a bloom, I'm going to go ahead and just cut off now. And the plant should put some more energy into, instead of the blooms, into just making some more branching. And hopefully in a couple months I can show you guys how much it leafed out, and hopefully some more blooms. It does have some nice movement to it. I've never wired this. It's very brittle. You might be able to wire some really young parts or whatever, but this is definitely what you would call a clip and grow kind of a tree, where you just want to kind of prune it up and let it go. You can even see this branch here. This is all dead. It only has that one little piece of life there. I'll leave it though. Yeah, I might cut this off. This looks like it's kind of burned up. Just kind of keep that compact. But even without ever wiring it, it does have, and it's got decent movement. Could change the angle when I replant it again one day, but I intend to leave it in this pot for quite some time. And get it in a more decorative pot sometime soon. My last couple of videos, I noticed every time I meant to say decorative pot, I said ceramic pot. Some of the pots I have are ceramic, but I really just meant more decorative. And then real quick, as I end the video here, I'd like your opinion down in the comments. I'd like your opinion on anything down in the comments. Some of my students telling me, like, oh, I'm making this so boring and I'm making this less exciting than math. I am trying to maybe talk a little more like I talk to you guys in person. It is just really awkward here by yourself in the room and everything. But I have this air plant, and if you look really close, you can see the air plant even has, that's a flower there from the air plant. That's another one. That's the one I thought I was focused on first there. I'm figure out where this damn camera is in this thing. Anyway, that's flower from the air plant. And if you can see from the earlier pictures I posted, as a matter of fact, I'll just go ahead and put that picture back up here now so you can see. I actually took out like half of it. It was kind of overwhelming the branch there a little bit, but I kind of like it. It gives it a little bit of a natural look. I mean, that's one of the whole things is about bonsai in general, is like you see people like, oh, I want to make my little tree here look like a bonsai. And then the question is really, I mean, is you should make your bonsai look like a tree. And in Florida, when you see this in somebody's yard, they have these little air things in there, and the air plants in there, unless they take them out. That's one of the reasons why I left it in there. It's unique. But I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think about the air plant. I'd like to leave it in there, but depending on what everybody says, maybe not. But I hope to update you soon, and hopefully this thing leaves that battle a little bit better than it did. But, it was just repotted, in February, so 3 months ago, 4 months ago, so should look good again here soon. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe.